where we will be answering your questions about Effect House in the next 30 minutes. I see everyone is so ready. Hi, Uni. Hi, Lynette. Yes. Hi, Kokwan Hua, Game Plus 40, Helicat Pose, Rolex Stro. And everyone's coming from both Asia and Central America. So I think this is a good time. Yeah, maybe Bruno's from Brazil. Oops. Yeah. Um, If you could maybe share where everyone's joining from today. I know Bruno's from Brazil, and then Lynette's from Singapore, Game Plus 40 Coco also from Malaysia. But if any new faces, yeah, let us know where you're coming from. And if this is your first time here, just pop in your questions down in the chat box, and then we'll get August today to answer your questions. If you haven't seen August before, I'm pretty sure all of you have, but I'll give August a chance to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm August. I'm an interactive engineer at TikTok, and I work a lot with the Effect House, specifically making the micro jams and the templates for Effect House.
Yeah. So if you have any template requests, this is the time for you to write them down, and August will start working on it. No pressure. Yes. And in case if you see Effect House replying, that's Celine. So say hi to Celine as well. Yeah. So I think before we dive into several of the questions, I believe August has something to share with us. It's to do with the new latest template, which is the art maker.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Art Maker, which looks like this in the tool. Art Maker is essentially it's like a lot of these AI style effects you've been seeing. It lets you use an AI model with a text prompt and some other configurations to make an effect. As you can see, it took my image, it took like a snapshot of my image and then put up a loading bar and then eventually revealed this AI generated image. Now, when you look at the project, there's a little bit of visual scripting, but this is just kind of some simple stuff to turn some of the loading bars on and off. And then the way to use this art maker is that you have to turn it off and turn it on with visual scripting, and that will trigger it to make a new asset. Not an asset, but it'll render on the screen. So the first thing to notice, we can give it another go in case you didn't see the first time. It'll basically keep this snapshot, and there's not really any 2D image of that snapshot anywhere here. There's not any other object in the hierarchy that shows this final image either. So you just have to kind of understand that this AI draw component is just a new component that's only available in this template, and it's doing a lot of this stuff under the hood or behind the scenes. So the fact that it's a perspective camera would lead me to believe that somewhere in this art maker component, it's creating a 3D plane that's full screen, and then it's drawing that onto there. Um, so that's all you really need to know about that. Uh, in case you were confused when you opened it and you're like, where is it rendering? What is it on? And then it's not on any of these like loading objects. Um, so now you know how it appears on the screen. I'll just dive into this generate artwork button. This opens up this kind of like AI studio kind of setup where it has a bunch of options you can use. Um, so just focus on the left panel for now. These are where you can change some things. In the middle here is kind of like giving you kind of a hint of how to use it. Um, and basically you can put any text prompt. Um, so if you look at this, you'll see festival lights, comma, spaceships, comma, planets. I actually did this one. And I just wrote like a prompt that kind of goes along with all of our other templates, space theme. So this is a pretty short one. You can see 151 out of 500. You can really write a lot of stuff, and it'll basically pick all of this up and use it in different ways. So I would highly advise you, if you want to get really good at this skill, to just kind of like Google search around for some like AI prompt creation tutorials, or some people explaining some things about it, because it really is kind of a skill you can develop, and it's going to be useful not only here but all throughout the world. It's a great thing to pick up and kind of get to that first level, just understanding how it works. But as you can see, I put cats and dogs and animals, and that's because when I didn't have those before, it would just turn the cats and dogs in the preview into like robots or like just inanimate space objects. And so putting this here, even though I didn't say like space dog or astronaut dog, I just said cats and dogs. That just helped the prompt to recognize the cats and dogs and integrate them into the scene rather than trying to hide them with other objects. So that kind of stuff, it's just good to think about. Like just experiment around with that kind of stuff and think about how to talk to this algorithm. Uh, now that I've gotten past that, the style, these are basically three different AI models. You have the classic anime model. It'll always kind of look like classic anime. You have the retro anime. And then fantasy is kind of vampire-y looking, or like very, just a totally different style. How can I say this best? Each of these are kind of like you're talking to a different person, a different artist. So like if you said one thing to one of them and the same exact thing to the fantasy one, it's not like it'll give you the same image just in a different style. It'll come up with different ways to arrange the entire image. So it's really like you're talking to three different, totally different people. So keep that in mind. You kind of have to practice doing text prompts with each different one to kind of learn how it best uses your prompts. The text strength one, this is actually if you put it all the way at image, it's going to take your input image, which is the camera feed when you use the effect. If you put it all the way to text, then it's almost going to ignore your camera feed and just draw an image based on your text prompt from nothing. Notice that the text maxes out at zero point 0.4. So if we max it out at zero point 0.4, that's like, in my opinion, the best strength, because this will give you a very rich and like creative image that's heavily based on your input camera feed. The last thing to mention is the last two fields here are not going to impact your prompt. These are just two things that help you preview what your prompt and all of your other settings will do. So when you upload a test image, this is not going to be in your final effect. It's basically just going to uh, let you see what it'll look like when you click this generate image button. We'll just wait for 5 seconds. And then you can see it turn that like white smoke with the background into this like space astronaut thing in space. So then you can get an idea of how it will manipulate an image. And once you're satisfied with that and you've made all of your changes to these things and generated image, then you can click confirm. And this preview count 4 is just for this. Like I said, you can make it create more just so you can get a better idea of different scenarios. And then as soon as you click that confirm, now your text prompt, style, and text strength settings are locked in. And for some reason, I always look like this same guy. Uh, am I really that tan? I don't know. I did get a bit of a sunburn recently. But yeah, so that's really all there is to it. I think right now, just your prompt will create some interesting effects. You've seen Shrek, you've seen mermaids, you've seen all kinds of stuff. Uh, just the prompt alone, I think will get users to try it if you have an interesting prompt. That being said, you can do a lot of stuff with this. If you use a snapshot node and capture this render texture here, um, after this finishes, you can take that texture and you can use it anywhere. You could put it into like a little trading card as the artwork, or make it look like this guy's peeking out through a window of a house. I don't know. You could, there's like endless capabilities, and I can't wait to see of what like super creative people come up with, because I have not come up with that many things yet. But totally, yeah, I think it'll get really big. Do we have any questions about the AI art maker stuff, or should we? Yeah, if you feel like it's ignoring your prompt, I mean that could really be a lot of different things. It's hard to say, but if you uh, let's do an experiment. I'll say gnomes. So that's like a very small prompt, right? Red hat, white beard. We'll see what happens with this one, and then I'll explain like what I would do based on the result. Maybe that'll give a hint. So gnomes, red hat, white beard. Honestly, it is kind of a red hat and a white beard, and he does look pretty gnomey. But maybe I would start there with these three simple things, and then I would say um, round face, and then maybe that wouldn't quite get what I want. Maybe it's like diverting too much away from gnomes, so I would say round gnome face and gnome ears, just to kind of like hint at it. Hey, I want this to be very gnomey. I don't care so much about the red hat. And these are just things that I've seen give me the results I want based on my experiments. But AI is a very popular and growing thing, so you never know. You could look at what other people say online, just in general about AI, and maybe learn more about your specific situation. I guess gnomes wear earmuffs, according to this model.
Think
Uh,
oh wow, you look like Hot Santa.
oh,
I love that. Uh-huh. So, confused college kid, if you have a specific project that you're experiencing difficulty in, be it with a AI the art maker, or any other one, you could share them in our forum at community.effecthouse.com, and our technical team will have a look at them to help you with it. The next question is, and thank you so much, August, for walking us through this whole new feature. I am also excited to see what you guys come up with.
nice.
And the next question is from Ko Kwan Hua, Game Plus 40. Hello, hello, our regular. He has a specific question for you, and it's regarding a scoreboard that you might have worked in.
Hmm.
How would he apply a different additional score on a different object? For example, if if in the condition that the character catches an apple, it will be a plus one points, and then if the character catches an orange, it will be a 5 points, and banana would be a 20 points. So, for example, there's a catching game, and you're trying to catch different items, and each item has a different point. How would you do that?
Well, let's see. I think uh, I think that's pretty good. That's a pretty good question. Um, oh, 2.5.2. Okay. Let me just make sure I don't delete a version. I like to keep all of my versions just because you never know. Um, but sometimes I'll use version control like Git, depending on what specifically I'm working on. So that's a good tip as well. Use Git. Okay, so you want different points to do different things. Well, the scoreboard has a couple ways to do it. One would be a hack way where you could just kind of use decrease score as a different one. So if you want one thing to increase the score by 1 and another thing to increase the score by 2, you could say decrease by -2. That's the hack way. That's if you only have two different scores and you don't care and you just want to hack it. Um, change this set score. Uh, okay, so we probably just want to do it a different way though. So say you could say um, you could have like a switch. statement and say create a variable. I'm trying to think of a way to avoid creating a variable, but current point amount. So this is the current amount of points you'll add. So you would just set that value. Oh, sorry, I'll zoom in. I don't have my monitor right now, so it's a little. So I'm on kind of a small screen. But I would just let's say there's two different scores for this. Oh, weird. Let's say you could either make it. Did you say 40?
It's an apple is 1, an orange is 5, a banana is 20.
Okay. We'll just do 20 and 40 since I just
Sure.
typed them in. I just don't. Okay, so what I would do is whenever you want to score, I would do this, have a sequence, or so yeah. Let's say I'll just create a couple. Oops, I'll create a couple different events like screen tap, screen pan, just so we have a couple different ones. And I mean, really, realistically, if you don't care at all, you don't need the switch. You can just you can do this increase. Oh, and one thing is you'll want to grab this and use this as the input for your step, which is the value that it increases when you click when you say increase score. So that's basically one way. And if we take away these extra things that I was trying to find a smoother way to do it, we could see this isn't too complicated. You're just setting what the score will add and then piping it into the current score. And that will allow you to change what this value is right before you trigger increase score each time. Yeah, so that should be okay. I usually, yeah, I think that's fine. It's not too much extra work, I guess. Yeah, does that work? Is that hopefully solving the problem?
Is this basically setting up the variable, or is this not using the variable?
This is using a variable, yes.
Yeah, so same suggestion Lynette suggested. That's great.
Okay.
Hopefully that helps. If it doesn't, let us know in the chat while we move on to your other question. So question number 3. Let me just try to find it. You guys are so active. I love it. Thank you so much, Confused College Kid, for all the suggestion. I think the error codes what is it called, list would be very helpful for all of us. So Ko's next question is how to apply custom material on a person segmentation. For example, how would you apply a dissolve material on a person or a fur on a person? I think the fur one is fun.
Let's see. Is this? Can I get the fur from the asset library?
I think so. There's a fur on asset library.
Let's grab that one. Fur. Oh, maybe.
I think Bruno, he also tried on the fur. So if you have any tutorial, Bruno, you could share that with us.
Yeah, I don't see the fur. Maybe I'll just use chainmail.
Sure.
It's chainmail. That's great. Metal spaghetti. Okay. Let's see what happens when we add it on. Okay, so the first thing I would do, if you want to apply it, yeah, it's going to be very similar to the way that we did that we do the hair mask. We're going to put a plane here, and we're going to add our chain metal to the plane, and we're just going to make the plane really big. Interesting. And now the screen is fully chainmail. So then we'll add in, we can just add in segmentation so we get the whole thing. So we'll do portrait segmentation. And the thing is, we actually, well, we want to go into our asset panel first, actually. Go to portrait segmentation and click invert mask. Now what this means is that when you look at this texture, it's going to basically be painting in the original input camera texture everywhere except on the person. So it's the inverse portrait segmentation. So we'll just put that last, and now you can see. Oh, we also want to get rid of the default background. Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay, so we're painting the background around the person. So now the person is chainmail. So now you may be like, oh, okay, well, that's fine, but I want the chainmail the pattern to move with me, so it's maybe a little more realistic. Combining a 3D material with like a fur shader with segmentation is basically never going to look great unless you do a lot of extra polish on top of it. And then even then, it might be a little hard. So head tracker I would maybe use, and we don't need the head here. I don't think you want it to like rotate with the person, so we'll just do set position, and then we'll do get position. And so wherever the head is, this plane will also be. Just throw down an update node here so that it happens every single frame consistently. Now the chainmail pattern. Wait. Oh, I was setting the position of the head tracker. Sorry. So set the position of the plane, and that should work. So as you can see on the bottom, you can see the edge of the plane. So if you just want to make sure that that doesn't happen, you could just make the scale of the plane much larger. And remember, it doesn't really matter too much. Let's go down to the chain metal settings and turn on UV control and just set tiling to, just set it to like 10 or something. Whatever looks good. You can adjust this and tweak it however you need. But now the plane is very large. So the only thing you always want to test in a variety of scenarios. So let's see what happens when somebody's very far away. We can see when they're pretty far away, it still stretches all the way to their feet. So it's pretty low chance that you're gonna have that edge visible. But if you want to be really sure, just turn on your webcam and walk all the way back to the end of a football field. As far as you want to go. As far as you want to go. But this kind of testing, seeing how it looks on people far away and up close, I highly recommend it. It'll make your effects much better, and you'll have a lot less of those moments where you see somebody post a video with your effect and you'll see a bug on their video when it's already live. I hate that feeling. So that's why I do all this extra testing before I release an important effect.
Thank you so much, August. We're running a bit over time, but I think we have one last question. I won't tell you who asked the question, so you get to pick. One is an AI question, and the other one is still on the fur on a body mesh, so something like the material. Which one do you prefer?
Well, we already have the fur on the body mesh one open, so we could, or fur on the portrait segmentation.
Yeah. You want the portrait segmentation?
Sure.
Okay. So is it possible to combine AI with other feature like portrait segmentation? Can so co- this can I use a portrait segmentation before AI to have a bit more control over the output from the AI?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Mm.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the art maker, actually. So yeah, you might have seen there are quite a few different effects that like put create a render node that's like we'll just do segmentation for now. They have a render node, which is what we call these things. So the 2D background effects is the first render node, Art Maker is the second one, and they kind of render in that order. So as you can see now, it's taking in this portrait segmentation background that gets auto added to your project, and you can see that's very visible in the final effect. And so a lot of what people have been doing in the for these first couple of weeks of the AI template being out is they'll attach a lot of 3D objects to the face, maybe a hat, maybe some other stuff to make you look like that character, and then let the AI kind of finish the effect. So it's almost like you're like holding up these props and then letting AI imagine what if they were real. So yeah, that's definitely a huge thing. If we want to, let's do a face effect. Um, and let's just dive into the asset library actually as well. To face effects. Uh,
August, your skin looks so great. I don't know if there's an effect on you.
oh, I always forget you can see me because I only have the one screen. So I'm imagining that you're just seeing this dancing astronaut the whole time. Let's just do a 3D thing then. Okay, so how about the rabbit ears? Import and apply. Okay. Those are some heavy rabbit ears. Okay, so we have the ears in the project. We can get rid of this portrait segmentation. Maybe let's get a closer person. Maybe we'll go with this guy. And then you'll see because this face mask effects node is before
Oh.
Art Maker, you'll see he has the rabbit ears here. And if we changed our prompt to be like less about astronaut space festival and more about like large ears, if we add that to our prompt as well, then it will recognize the rabbit ears. Actually, I'm saying that, but why don't I just try it and see?
Mhm.
Strange man with rabbit ears eating a carrot. I don't know if that will actually be good. We'll see. We'll feed this one back in, Hot Santa. And then we can just confirm we don't actually have to generate the preview at all.
Mhm.
And then we'll see.
Oh, wow.
Well, it definitely accepts the rabbit ears a lot more when doing this. I don't know if he's really that strange, and I think the carrot is in his hair for some reason. but but a weak prompt gives you a weak final result. So take some time on your prompts, and you'll come up with some good stuff.
Thank you so much, August. So I guess that's the end of our office hour today. Thank you, everyone, for coming to our office hour. I just wanna let you guys. I just wanna go through our poll though. So there were two polls. One is on what style is your favorite. So apparently, fantasy wins at 66%. Classic anime has 33%, and no one picked retro anime. A bit sad for retro anime. Uh,
One one tip from what I've seen, I feel like classic anime works with my text prompts. It like leans more into them, whereas the fantasy looks really cool, but sometimes you have to push it a lot harder to use your text prompt.
okay,
So
nice tip. Thank you.
yeah, keep that in mind.
Mhm. And the last one is what would you like to make a furry? There are four objects, and I guess apple wins. A furry fruit. Imagine a furry apple. I
Is this
picked Cheetos myself, and there's also, I think teddy bear and Cheetos is a tie. Mhm.
is this for you want to eat the furry apple? People are eating furry Cheetos and
Apparently.
apples. Okay.
Someone should develop that. Yeah. Okay. So if we didn't get to answer your question today, hit up our forum at community.effecthouse.com. And you could also follow us on all our socials at Effect House on TikTok, Instagram, Discord, and Twitter. This office hour, as usual, will be uploaded to the YouTube in the next few days. So definitely subscribe to YouTube. And if we answer any of your question and you want to slow down the recording so that you could work with virtual August, it will be there in the next few days. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good morning, good night, have happy breakfast, happy dinner for some of you, and enjoy the rest of your day. And see you at the same time in 2 weeks. See ya.